And Martin too, like, come
Man,
on.
f that shit, bro. No one cares about that no more. That's the past, ladies and gentlemen. That is the past. We're thinking ahead. We're thinking for the future. And this team, this club, still has a future. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday, 2 days from this video dropping, Real Madrid versus Barcelona for the 4th time this season. And when you rank the importance of the Clásicos this season, we played 3 so far. For the Supercopa final, for the Copa del Rey final, and once in the league at the Santiago Bernabéu. This ranks as the 2nd most important. The first one was the Copa del Rey. This will be the 2nd most important Clásico. The 3rd, the Supercopa. And obviously at the bottom with the Santiago Bernabéu spanking that Barcelona gave them. But yes, another Clásico, maybe another spanking from Barcelona. Maybe we'll see Real Madrid wake up this game and potentially beat us. Because obviously they don't want us to go 4-4. Come on. 4-4? They don't want that. They don't want that. We want it. But they for sure don't. So, I'm excited. So, obviously, we know the importance of this match. It is going to basically determine if Barcelona will become La Liga champions or if Real Madrid will have the slightest slither of a chance to try and make the epic comeback of dreams and become champions themselves. Obviously, Barcelona are 4 points ahead of Real Madrid. If they lose this match on Sunday, they'll be 1 point behind. So it's still in Barcelona's hands, but it'll be more difficult considering the games we have left. If Barcelona win the league, we'll be 7 points ahead, and at that point, we basically won it, because then we'd have to lose 3 games for Real Madrid to win the league, and that's just not happening. Come on, it's not happening. If we were to tie, nothing changes, we'll still be 4 points ahead, and at that point, again, Barcelona would have to lose 2 games in order to lose the league, and again, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So Real Madrid are 100% going to be utterly desperate to win this game, but not only to bring down the gap to potentially win the league, but also for the bragging rights, guys. Like I said, they don't want to go and lose 4 times in a row against this Barcelona side. No one would have expected Barcelona to really go 3 for 3 on them this season. You know, obviously in the Clásicos, it's always a 50-50 sometimes. Sometimes, you know, it leans to the other. Sometimes it doesn't. But usually it's a 50-50 because at the end of the day, form goes out the window when these 2 teams go at each other. When it comes to derbies, Clásicos, it goes out the window, and I feel it will be the same thing for this game. So I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think Real Madrid are for sure going to step up as much as we are going to step up. But we'll talk about how I think the game is going to go in a little bit. But first, we're going to start with the lineups. How I think Barcelona will line up for this match. So let's look at it. And Real Madrid too. Let's start off with Real Madrid. Let's start off with Real Madrid. How Real Madrid will line up for El Clásico. So, the obvious one, Thibaut Courtois in goal. Back line of Federico Valverde, Tchouaméni, Raúl Asensio, and Fran Garcia. So, we all know the situation of Real Madrid and their defense. Practically, they have everyone out. Carvajal's been out. Rudiger just recently got injured. Ferland Mendy's still out. Camavinga's out as well, because we know if he was fit, he'd probably be playing at the left back position. Alaba is just not good. So they have to make sacrifices, play players out of position like Tchouaméni and Federico Valverde. So these 2 are pretty obvious as to why they're playing. Fran Garcia, again, unless for some reason Ancelotti wants to be weird and put Alaba in the left back knowing that he's going to go up against Lamine Yamal, I doubt that would happen. So Fran Garcia, you know, that's his spot right there. And Federico Valverde playing at the right back. So when we look at the last Clásico for the Copa del Rey final, Lucas Vázquez started there. It wasn't Federico Valverde. Now, do I think this is going to happen again for this next Clásico? I think not, because one of the things I'm going to, you know, what I think is going to be the lineup for Barcelona is Alejandro Balde's return. So since Alejandro Balde is going to return, I think that it's going to put a lot more pressure on the right back position for sure, with having Rafinha and Balde going at the right back, going down this flank on the right side a lot more. So the best person to handle it would have to be Federico Valverde, not Lucas Vázquez, because I can assure you that he'll get cooked. Like, when we look at the last Clásico, the goals you really can't blame on Lucas Vázquez. It wasn't his fault. It was more of a collective thing from Real Madrid rather than just focusing on Lucas Vázquez when we look at the last 2 before that Copa del Rey final. But this game, I think it's too important for Lucas Vázquez to really start. Again, Alejandro Balde's return is going to be the main thing for that, because he didn't start the last game. It was Gerard Martin, and we saw that In that Clasico, Gerard Martin really didn't do much. He wasn't attacking this flank. Like, we weren't doing much in this flank. We were holding on to the ball a lot on our left side, on Barca's left side, but we just weren't doing anything with it. Lucas Vasquez didn't really have to suffer. So now that Alejandro Balde is gonna come back, this side is gonna be more vulnerable for Real Madrid. So the best person to handle it will have to be Federico Valverde. Now when we go to the midfield, Luka Modric, Ceballos, Jude Bellingham. So Jude Bellingham is obvious. He's their guy. Ceballos, he's basically gonna play their pivot since Tchouaméni has to play in the back line. So it's going to be Ceballos for today and Luka Modric. So the midfield is basically based on the players that they have. Like, I can guarantee you if Camavinga was playing that, again, even if Camavinga was still available, like, Tchouaméni would still have to play center back because they have no other option. Like, I don't see Ancelotti really putting Alaba anywhere near this lineup. So I think this is like what they have available. I don't know what other midfielders they really have. Like, it wouldn't really make sense unless they put Rodrigo up top and then put Golo in the midfield, but that just wouldn't be balanced enough. Like, I think for this matchup, they're gonna form into like their diamond formation of what we saw from them last season, with Arda Güler being the 10 and Jude Bellingham being that box to box, and then a double pivot between Ceballos and Luka Modric. So Luka Modric is mostly playing on because of the players they have available. They really don't have any other players. So that's the reason that this is the midfield I chose for them. And up top, Vini, Mbappe, obvious ones, and Arda Güler. So Arda Güler in recent games has been starting for Real Madrid. I think at this point, finally, Ancelotti has woken up to the fact that he should have been playing and starting for this team in such a while ago. Like, I don't understand how it took him this long. I think at this point, since there's nothing to lose, he's going to leave this season. He's like, all right, let me just start playing him, which was pretty sad if you ask me, because we all know the talent out of the goaltenders. Like, he is incredible, and finally he's getting the chance from Ancelotti, and I think he will for sure start this game. I don't see why Rodrigo would have to play this game when Arda Güler isn't on form. He's been cooking these last couple games for Real Madrid, so I think he earned this spot now. Like, I don't think Ancelotti should make the same mistakes of the past and going back with just the players he trusts. Give these players opportunities. Again, he has nothing to fight for anymore besides potentially, lowering the gap. What else? Like, he's leaving. Just test it out, right? So I think Arda Güler for sure will start this game, and he'll be a threat for sure. You can say is Toni Kroos's replacement, quote unquote. It's not like he'll do the exact same things Toni Kroos does, but it's more of a factor that he has the vision, he has the pass, he has the ability to make those kind of line break passes that Toni Kroos was offering Real Madrid in prior seasons. So he'll be a threat for sure. He's great on the ball, and he'll be a nuisance in the midfield. He'll for sure be a nuisance in the midfield. He'll be someone that we have to be very careful with, especially when it comes to corner kicks. Like, he'll be a major threat with that. And Mbappe and Vini, I'm expecting a big game for them. I really can't say anything else. Obviously, when it comes to the Pichichi Award, Mbappe and Lewandowski are still at it. They're only one goal away from each other. So Mbappe is going to want to step up this game and try to lower that gap and perform. Just perform. Like, they're these are the moments that they bought him for, to step up in the big games. So he's going to have to step up because this is a big game. 100% a big game. Not only because it's a Clasico, it's a rivalry. It's the fact that you can lower the gap and potentially fight for the Liga title, right? And Vinicius Jr. is someone that this season hasn't been great. Like, let's be honest. He struggled this season, especially the second half of the season. He's not really performed. He's not really done much for Real Madrid to be like, wow, like not like other seasons where he's been spectacular throughout the whole season. So he's another player that for sure the Madrid fans and a lot of people are eyeing, like, bro, when are you going to step up? This is the game you need to step up, especially when I show who he's going to go up against, right? So I expect, better performance from Real Madrid in general, but we'll see. We'll see if Barcelona can handle it. But let's go into Barcelona's lineup. This is, I think most of it's pretty obvious. But, we'll see. We'll see what Hansi Flick decides to go with. So, Chesney in goal, Eric Garcia, Pau Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, and Alejandro Balde. I think these two are pretty guaranteed already. The favorite duo of Hansi Flick. Inigo Martinez for the Champions League in the semis against Inter, he came off with a little bit of, problems. But I haven't seen any report or anything that he'll be out or anything. So I'm for sure going to guarantee that he's going to play this game. And Pau Cubarsí, obviously, these are the two guys that Hansi Flick has trusted the whole season. With Alejandro Balde, like I saw report the only report I really saw was that he started, he came back for training. He started training with the first team again before this matchup, right? So we'll probably get the green light by tomorrow to see if he'll be able to play. Like he's fully fit to play, but hopefully he is. I expect him to play. I really don't want to see Jera Martin there. Like I'd rather see Alejandro Balde every single day. But who knows? Hansi Flick might be like, "Yo, you just came back. We might not want to take a risk with you and just put Jera Martin." Who knows? But I expect Alejandro Balde. I think with Alejandro Balde, we have more of an impact for sure and be more on the front foot and have way more chances and opportunities going forward. So I think he has to be, essential for us. He has been essential for us all season, especially when we look at the form that Rafinha has been in recent games. So Alejandro Balde, I think he has to start. Now, when it comes to the right back position, I've been seeing a lot of things. Araujo right back, Eder Garcia right back, maybe Hector Fort right back. Hector Ford, I can guarantee you he's not going to start as a right back. There's just no way. Like, Hansi Flick has trusted him very little this season. As for recent, we've been seeing him a little bit more, but not much. And Hector Ford defensively is just great. He's not great. He needs to improve a lot defensively wise. And since he's going to go up against Vinicius Jr., I don't think this is the game to test him on that ever. Like, it should not be happening. So Hector Ford offers a lot going forward. He's a threat going forward, but defensively, no. Going up against Vinny? No way. Now, Araujo and Eder Garcia. When it comes to defending, when it comes to who has pace, who has more aggression, who's more physical, Araujo. When it comes to positional play, who's more secure on the ball, I'd give it to Eder Garcia. Obviously, when it comes to the situation of the right back, they're going to go up against Vinicius Jr. Most of us would think that Araujo, he's the one that's locked them up for multiple games or multiple times throughout the last couple seasons, especially under Xavi. Like, Xavi would switch his position from a center back to a right back in those certain games that we would play against Real Madrid because he knows that he's the one player that can lock down Vinny, and he's done it multiple times. So, it begs the question if he should start this game as a right back. But one of the things this season is that we haven't really seen Araujo play right back. I don't think there's been a game where he's actually played right back. Like, when Koundé got injured, I think a lot of us assumed that Araujo was going to be our right back now, like, because he's played there before. But then Eder Garcia started playing right back. Hansi Flick's like, no, I'll put Eder Garcia there. I think that's been a revelation for sure because he's done pretty well. He's actually not looked bad playing as a right back. So I think he'll continue to trust Eder Garcia playing as a right back. I think for sure this is one game we're going to have to perfect to perfection the high line because Eder Garcia toe-to-toe with Vinny Jr., I don't see it happening. Like, I don't see Eder Garcia locking him down. Unless he has the game of his life, he's going to have it difficult. Especially if Vinny gets through. Then, yeah, it's looking tough. So, not only does Eder Garcia have to be perfect, but the whole back line has to be perfect when we step forward. And obviously get the assist from other players like Frankie, like or Pedri or Olmo. So, or Lamine as well. But I think Hansi Flick will continue to trust Eder Garcia to play the right back position because again, when it comes to positional play, how smart he is in actually, being in cohesion with the rest of the line when we're pushing forward. Eder Garcia is more aware. He has, he does it better than Araujo. So, especially when you're playing as a right back, it's different than playing as a center back. So, I can see at this point, I think Hansi Flick just sees that Eder Garcia is the better choice there. So, I've chosen Eder Garcia. Now, when it comes to the midfield, I think this is the pretty, obvious midfield for Barcelona. Pedri, Frankie de Jong, and Dani Olmo. This is our best midfield right here. Like, we really don't have to change anything here. Pedri, Frankie, Olmo, they're our best trio right now when it comes to the midfield position. So, yeah, I don't really have to explain much there. And on top, little to explain as well, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and Lewandowski. Lewandowski is the one that I'm a little bit iffy on if he should start this game. Because when he came on against Inter, he didn't really do much, right? He didn't really do much. Obviously, game rhythm, he's lacking it for sure. But besides that, he looked slow. He didn't really look that physical. Like, he had a couple of hold-up plays where he did well on, but not much motivating things to be like, all right, he's back. He's back to the Lewandowski he's been throughout the whole season, right? But I think since he's competing for the Pichichi, he's obviously a guy who's a mentality monster. He wants to play these games, and considering what he's done against Real Madrid in the last in the Supercopa final and in the Clasico and the Bernabeu, he's done well. He scored goals. He's for some reason those games he's performed, like he's actually stepped up. So I think Hansi Flick would just give him the opportunity and be like, all right, go ahead, go play. You're back. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ferran starts, just because Lewandowski might not be 100%. He might not be 100%. So I wouldn't be surprised. Lamine, obviously the best player in the world. There's no doubt about him starting this game. I think him again going against Fran Garcia, I expect better because when we look at the Supercopa, the Clasico, he really didn't do much against Fran Garcia. It's not that he struggled against him, but I don't know. He I don't know if he just lacked the confidence going forward at him. I don't know why he would, but he just didn't go at him as much as he probably should have, considering it's Fran Garcia, right? So I expect this game to be like, all right, I'm going at you now. And Rafinha, again, if Balde comes back for this match, I expect Rafinha to step up. I've seen people say, Rafinha hasn't, maybe because of not having Balde with him that's why he's been affecting his games. But even when Balde was playing, like, he still didn't put up great performances. Like, I'm just being honest with Rafinha. It's just been since international break. Ever since that incident with Argentina, he's just been struggling. Like, that's just a fact. Like, I can't really say anything different there. Like, he's just not put up the same performances throughout, like, what we've seen from him throughout the whole season. Like, at one point of the season, every time he would get the ball, I would be like, wow, something's gonna happen, because he looked just so dangerous. Like, with so much confidence going at the attack, going at the defenders. Like, he looked like he had a lot of confidence in him, doing what he knows how to do best, right? But in recent games, he just looks confused. He looks, hesitant to do much, to take risks. And I don't know, because I like what I've been seeing from him mostly is just him crossing, rather than him trying to create something for himself or, make a great play. Like, I don't know. His confidence just hasn't looked the same. Hopefully, now that Balde's back, he'll get that confidence. Hopefully the anger of getting knocked down in the Champions League can, amp him up to step up in this game. He knows the importance of this game. We're playing at home. So, hopefully he steps up for this game. So, yeah. Those are the lineups that I think that both teams will line up for this game. All right, so now let's get to the serious point of the video. How I think the game is going to go. What do I expect this game to be, the final result of this game? Who do I think will win? Obviously, you already know who I think will win. I think Barcelona will win. Do I think it's going to be a landslide like the first two Clásicos? No, I don't, because, again, Real Madrid, they know the importance of this match. They're going to want to step up. They know it's Carlo Ancelotti's last ever Clásico in his life. I mean, who knows? Like, we don't know if Real Madrid in the future will call him back. Who knows? But potentially he's looking like it will be his last ever Clásico of his life. He's leaving the season, so they're going to want to step up for him as much as for themselves and for the team, for the fans, right? Obviously, again, the bragging rights factor, like, just importance of getting the 3 points to bring down the gap. Real Madrid will step up this game. I can guarantee you that they will step up, and I don't think they'll make it as easy as it's looked in the last Clásicos. So, the only doubt I have, not doubt, but like worry, a little bit of worry I have is, how the Barcelona team is feeling. Are they confident? Are they okay? Because, we're still feeling what happened on Tuesday against Inter. Like, it affects them mentally. It affects the players mentally. The one player I can guarantee you is not going to affect mentally, or two players I can tell you, or Pedri and Yamal. I think these guys are just mentality monsters that they always put up good performances even when bad things have happened. Like, these guys are so consistent that I don't expect them to really be affected. But the other players, who knows? Again, Rafinha's the one guy I'm really looking at, because he's been affected. You could tell he's 100% been affected from the international break. So who knows if this one also affected him even more, and he might not perform. So that's the main worry I have. Like, are these players mentally there? Has Hansi Flick talked to them and prepared them well for this game? Because obviously getting knocked out hurts, but we have to just move on. We have to move on. We have to move forward. We know the importance. We can win the domestic treble. We won the Copa del Rey. We won the Supercopa. Now we can win La Liga. That's the domestic treble, which is a great season, and to end it off. So they all know the importance of this game. Hopefully, that mental factor doesn't, get in the way of how they perform for this match. Now, when we look back at the Copa del Rey final, again, that first half was mostly us. We were dominating them. We didn't allow them to breathe. They couldn't get out their own half. Like, we were giving them, like, a game. Like, that was a great performance. And then in the second half, The fact that Mbappe came on definitely changed the game. Arda Güler coming on changed the game as well. So that's when they started getting more of the front foot. They started attacking us a lot more, and we were struggling. We were struggling a bit. Where I wouldn't say they dominated us. I wouldn't say that they were the better team. It was just a factor that they started being more progressive, started being more on the front foot, and had chances to score. But we also had chances to score. So in that second half, I would say it was just like a 60-40, a little bit more in their advantage. So I'm expecting a little bit of the same. I'm expecting them to be a lot more on the front foot, especially since they have Arda Güler, who will give them the confidence going forward with those long passes, with the through passes. He's an intelligent player when he knows, as much as Mbappe and Vinny know, that when they're going to look at our high line, they're going to look at how to break down our high line. Like Mbappe and Vinny, I'm expecting them to, do better there. Because when Mbappe came on in the Copa del Rey final, he was causing so much danger. So now that he's going to play from minute one, I'm expecting the same thing. So our back line has to be perfect. We have to, be on it every single time. Try to keep them offside if that's going to be our game plan, right? When we're struggling to defend, when we're struggling and they start attacking us a lot more, we have to, just be resilient. We have to know when to defend because, again, looking back at the Inter game, we just didn't know. We just didn't know how to defend, and hopefully we don't make the same mistakes for this game. I'm expecting a big game from Lamine Yamal. Again, like I said, him going up against Fran Garcia, I'm expecting big things from him. I'm expecting him to be the main guy and to change this game. Like I said, him and Pedri are the biggest mentality monsters that we have in this squad. Like, the confidence is on a 17-year-old just going into every game with, the highest level is insane. And I'm expecting the same thing today. Not today, on Sunday, where, he'll be the main threat for us to create a lot of the chances. For Dani Olmo, I'm expecting a big game from him as well. We need a big game from Dani Olmo because against Inter, the first half, not great. Second half, he stepped up a little bit more. With Dani Olmo, it's looking like he gets gassed a little bit too quickly, and Hansi Flick, decides to take him out. I don't think he's played a whole 90 minutes yet for Barcelona. I can't really remember if he has, but the minutes that he does get, he has to step up. He is going up against Luka. Considering the lineup I predicted, Luka Modric, Ceballos, Tchouaméni, who we saw in the Super Copa final, was awful, and I'm expecting him to do better. I'm expecting him to step up this game because I think Lewandowski will have a little bit tough just because he may not be fully fit, and going up against Tchouaméni, Raúl Asensio is not going to be easy for him. They're physical as hell. Rafinha on that left side going against Federico Valverde. Him again is going to be is going to have to be, how good Rafinha and Balde work together to attack that left flank side. Because with Balde coming back, it's just great for us. Like, we're going to have way more threats going on the left side and not having just to fully depend on Lamine Yamal to create danger. So I'm expecting him to do that. I think the midfield battle will be interesting, though, because Jude Bellingham had a great game in the Copa del Rey. I cannot lie. He had a great game. He was putting a lot of great tackles. He was driving the team a lot during that game. So Frankie de Jong and Pedri for sure going to have to step up, try to take him out, especially if I think, the lineup I predicted with Luka Modric starting. They can't allow Luka Modric to play his game, right? Because, again, bro, he's old. Like, they shouldn't be allowing him to play his game. Like, Luka Modric, as much as he's more rested than these players, they should never let him play his game. They should never let him have control of the match at all because, come on, like, they're younger than him. They should have more energy than him and, put a lot of pressure on him. With Dani Ceballos, I'm not too worried about Dani Ceballos. I think in the Copa del Rey, he was awful when he played against us. Maybe the excuse could have been that he just came back from injury recently, so that's why. But, I'm not too worried about him, honestly. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think both teams will be pretty even during the game. I think maybe the first half will have more control since we're playing at home. We'll want to have more control. And then the second half, Real Madrid again. Like in the Copa del Rey, they'll start stepping up. They start attacking us a little bit more and probably causing more danger. Now, the chances we get, we have to score them for sure because in the Copa del Rey, the first half, we didn't really create much. So we were dominating them. We were, suffocating them, but we just didn't really create much. It took a banger from Pedri to really get us back, up in that game. So the chances we do get, I'm expecting us to score. I'm expecting Lamine Yamal to just get a lot of the ball again, like we've seen throughout the last couple games, and him perform. Just put up, dangerous opportunities for us to score. The second half, we're gonna have to be resilient. We're gonna have to just defend well, and as much as I think Real Madrid will definitely step up more in the second half because then Ancelotti will learn from his mistakes. we're just gonna have to be good. We're gonna have to be good defensively. That's the main thing. When it comes to the substitutes like Fermin, Araujo coming on, Gavi coming on, I just expect those are just the high energy kind of substitutions. The guys who will be the workhorses in when they come on, like they put a lot more pressure. Because when we look at the substitutions for Real Madrid, who do they really have? Like Endrick. I'm pretty sure that's it. Like I can't really think of any other, what other substitutions they can really make. Alaba, Endrick. Besides that, all their other players are pretty much injured. Like, there's nothing else, right? Or Rodrigo, obviously, too. But I don't think those guys will be much of an impact coming off the bench as much as we have players coming off the bench. So that's an advantage for us. We have better options coming off the bench. But overall, I think that Barcelona should win this game. I think we will win this game. We got to represent the boy Travis Scott as well. So, hopefully, that motivates them even more. I don't want to see at the end of the game if Real Madrid beat us a little tweet from Chouameni with some lyric from Travis Scott. Like, that's the last thing I want to see. But I expect Barcelona to win this game. I'm going to predict a little. I think both teams will for sure score. I think we will for sure score. I'm gonna say a little. I'm gonna say a motherfucking. I'm gonna say a motherfucking. What? 2-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1 Barca. 3-1 Barca. 2 goals from Lamine Yamal. 1 goal from. Dani Olmo. And for Madrid's end, own goal from Eric Garcia. I was kidding. I'll say maybe Mbappe. I'll say Mbappe scores. Mbappe somehow scores. A little tap in or some shit. But yeah, I'm going to say 3-1. But yeah, we know the importance of this match. Real Madrid going to have to lower the gap. But even if they beat us, they're going to have to depend solely on the next 3 teams that we have to play, which is Espanyol, Athletic Club, and Villarreal. Not in that order because Athletic Club is our last team. So if they do beat us, it's gonna look very tough for Barcelona because those 3 teams that we have left to play are difficult. We have a difficult last couple run of games compared to Real Madrid. It looks likely that they can win their last 3 games compared to us. Espanyol, that's a derby. They're probably gonna want to spoil the party and trying to get a result over Barcelona so that they don't win the league, right? So they're going to want to step up. Villarreal and Athletic Club are 2 teams that are, competing for Champions League spots. They want to secure the Champions League spots, so they're going to want to step up for this game. So it's looking tougher for us. Like, we're playing, our derby and 2 teams that are fighting for Champions League spots, so we're playing good teams. We're not playing bottom of the league teams or, any relegation sides. We're playing good teams, right? So, if Barcelona lose this match, it's going to look tough. It's going to look very tough. It's going to be, it's going to put a lot more pressure. Like, let's just not offer that. Let's just not have that happen. Let's just try and win this game or at least tie the game. So, win for sure. Win for sure has to be the objective, 100%. But if we tie, it's still an advantage. But let's just try to win this game so we can end the season calm. We don't have to stress about, we have to win every single game now. That stressful factor, that pressure factor is going to kick in. Let's just not have that happen. Let's just end the game. Let's just end the season right now and beat Madrid, be 7 points ahead, and then boom, it's done. We'll become La Liga champions, and Real Madrid and cry, and we can get all those Real Madrid fans back for all the insults they made against us for the end of the game. You hear me, Madristas? We're coming for you, motherfuckers. You better pray. That we don't beat you, because you came out your little cave. You came out the rat hole after Inter beat us, huh? You got happy there. But don't forget that we still have to play you. We beating you 3 times. We're going for the full for full. So be ready for that, Madrid. Be ready for that, Madristas. And I don't want to hear no crying after we beat you. And if you beat us, Barca, let's just not have that happen. But yeah, Vizca Barca. We will become La Liga champions this Sunday, motherfucker.